There's nothing sadder than the tears of a clown. Hey everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome to Watch Mojo. Today we're recounting the tragic life of Robin Williams.
Good morning, Vietnam!
That means we're looking at the inspiring but also heartbreaking life of one of America's favorite funny men. All right, let's get to it.
Thank you for the standing ovation. You made the orgasm up front. Let's have a cigarette. Let's relax.
Robin Williams was one of the finest entertainers of our time. We'd say funniest comedian of our time, but really, he did so much more than make us laugh. Yes, his primary creative output was comedy, and he excelled at it.
The ever impressive.
The long contained,
often imitated,
but never duplicated genie of the lamp.
Whether he was raucously performing stand-up in clubs or being relentlessly wacky on the big screen, Robin was a master of his craft. But he was also an adept dramatic actor, having been nominated for 4 Academy Awards throughout his acting career, and winning one for Good Will Hunting.
Your move, Chief.
Perhaps he was so good at drama because he drew from an internal source. You all know the joke about Pagliacci the Clown. A man feels depressed and goes to see a doctor, who tells him to watch Pagliacci the Clown to cheer himself up. But it turns out his patient is Pagliacci.
I have a cold. Just a bit of a cold. Is my nose red? Oh, it is.
It's a perfect summation of how people can use comedy to mask their inner turmoil. And Robin Williams was no different. He suffered bouts of depression, and he led a troubling and tragic life that was often hidden beneath his bizarre and wild sense of humor.
I do a great impression of a hot dog.
Things started out well for Robin, who grew up both affluent and popular. His father was a senior executive at Ford, and the family lived in a 40-room farmhouse in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. They were even rich enough to have a maid. Robin attended the private Detroit Country Day School and eventually became class president while excelling in school and partaking in various extracurriculars.
I do voices.
What do you mean, you do voices?
Well, I do voices.
Yeah!
Many of his old classmates also remember him as being a very funny and friendly person. In short, Robin was well off, personable, charismatic, funny, smart, and popular.
I think you're wrong. I think you have something inside of you that is worth a great deal.
Unfortunately, things weren't as good at home as they appeared from afar. His parents were busy people, and Robin didn't get to see them much. He was often left home alone, with the family maid being his only steady companion.
It's not your fault.
Despite receiving a full scholarship to Juilliard, Robin dropped out in his junior year and pursued stand-up comedy in the San Francisco Bay Area. Of course, being Robin Williams, one of the funniest men ever, he quickly found success.
My God, look, we're home, San Francisco, back again.
He graduated to performing in various clubs around Los Angeles in the mid-70s before winning the Grammy Award for Best Comedy Album in 1979 for his live show, Reality. What a concept. It would be his first of 4 Grammys. He also found incredible success on TV by playing the alien Mork on the ABC sitcom Mork and Mindy, which aired from 1978 to 1982. By all accounts, his professional career was going perfectly.
Hello! Anybody in there? Little hatchling brothers, you must revolt against your oppressors. You have nothing to lose but your shells.
But one thing ran rampant in the comedy scene in the late 1970s, and we're not talking about laughter. It was drugs, and Williams soon formed an addiction to cocaine and alcohol. One of his friends, Bob Davis, remembers being shocked to see Robin so ingrained in the drug culture.
There was once a documentary. They asked a Peruvian Indian chief. They said, "Chief, what's cocaine?" He looked right in the camera and said, "Cocaine is our little gift to the white man for what you did to us."
On one occasion, Davis said he watched as a fan holding cocaine on a spoon walked up to Robin, who snorted it without question. Robin also began drinking to come down from the manic coke highs. Mork and Mindy director Howard Storm recalls that Robin would stay out all night taking drugs, drinking, and, quote, screwing everybody in town, and would be, quote, a wreck on set the next day.
Even your dog's looking at you like, you wouldn't believe the shit you said to me last night.
Things came to a head in 1982 when Williams' close friend John Belushi died of an overdose after mixing heroin and cocaine, a dangerous concoction known as a speedball. Williams was left particularly devastated by his death, not only because John was his friend, but also because Robin had partied with him earlier that morning. His death had a profound effect on Robin. With his first child on the way, he decided to quit drugs and alcohol.
A little sip of Perrier here. I had to stop drinking alcohol because I used to wake up nude and hood of my car with my keys in my ass.
Not a good thing.
And he wasn't the only one. Williams later told People magazine, quote, "John's death scared a whole group of show business people. It caused a big exodus from drugs."
Hey, you know you'd be better off shoving that cigarette up your ass. It'd probably be healthier for you.
This transitional period, however, also caused Williams to spiral into himself and become depressed. Needing an outlet, he took up cycling and quickly formed a bond with the bike shop owner, Tony Tom. Tony claims that Williams once told him, quote, "Biking is a whole lot better for you than cocaine." And he reportedly credited biking for, quote, "saving his life."
Yeah, big time.
Yeah?
Just like that.
What do you bench?
285. What do you bench?
You paint that?
It's often been suspected that Robin suffered from clinical depression and/or manic depression, also known as bipolar disorder. However, he told NPR's Terry Gross in 2006 that he had never been clinically diagnosed with either. What we can say with certainty, though, is that Robin continuously struggled with addiction.
Another drug they don't tell you is a drug. It's a class 4 narcotic, alcohol.
After 20 years of sobriety, Robin fell off the wagon in 2003 and returned to alcohol. He was filming a movie in Alaska called The Big White and was feeling, quote, "alone and afraid."
And alcohol is especially dangerous for people like myself, alcoholics. Or you can say ethanol challenged, whatever you want to call it.
To allay his fears, he returned to drinking. He told Parade that it started with, quote, "just a taste," but it escalated so quickly. Within a week, I was buying so many bottles I sounded like a wind chime walking down the street.
And there's a voice that tells alcoholics we can drink. It's the same voice you hear if you can go up to the top of a very large building and you look over the side. There's a little voice that goes, "Jump."
After some tough love from his family, Robin admitted himself into rehab in 2006.
Ta-da! You are an alcoholic.
But it wasn't enough. He later returned to alcohol and went to rehab yet again in 2014, checking himself in to Minnesota's Hazelden Foundation addiction treatment. It's possible that Williams returned to alcohol near the end of his life because he was suffering from depression, and that this depression was linked to his failing body. Robin began suffering from a horrible case of Lewy body dementia in late 2013, though it wasn't identified as such until after his death.
Look at this. Excessive happiness. Actually says you're excessively happy? Mm-hmm. I mean, what does that mean? Isn't that good? I gotta fight this.
Robin's widow, Susan Schneider, wrote a brilliant and horribly tragic piece called "The Terrorist Inside My Husband's Brain" that offers a lot of insight into his heartbreaking final days. The early indications of the disease began in October 2013, around the time of Robin and Susan's second wedding anniversary.
What year is it?
It was brand new.
No. What year is it?
Robin began suffering from a host of seemingly unrelated problems, including insomnia, heartburn, gut discomfort, quote, "a slight tremor in his left hand," and a, quote, "alarming rise in fear and anxiety." Most of these symptoms were waved away, or in the case of the hand tremor, attributed to a prior shoulder injury.
I'm screwed, aren't I?
But then things got worse. By winter, Robin began suffering from more extreme and worrying symptoms like paranoia, delusions, and memory loss. While filming Night at the Museum 3, Robin had immense difficulty remembering his lines, and his memory loss combined with his rising anxiety struck a lot of fear into the struggling actor.
I guess this is it. Indeed.
He began having, quote, "unfounded fears," and suffered from a profound case of insecurity. Nothing Susan said could calm him down or help him see clearly.
It's time for your next adventure.
I have no idea what I'm gonna do tomorrow.
How exciting.
According to Susan, Robin was fully aware that, quote, he was losing his mind, but he put on a brave face and kept the worst symptoms to himself. But near the end, there was simply no hiding the severity of his case. Robin was walking with, quote, "a slow, shuffling gait." He had trouble speaking and often forgot words. His left hand wouldn't stop trembling. He could no longer judge distance and depth, and sometimes he even had trouble moving, a condition Susan calls, quote, "a frozen stance."
Bully!
Go! Gotcha! Smile, my boy. It's sunrise.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Robin had made up his mind. On the night of Sunday, August 10th, Robin said goodnight to Susan. It was the last thing he ever said to her. He committed suicide on August 11th. a final declarative statement against the disease that had been plaguing his brain for the last 10 months.
Death is not the enemy, gentlemen. If we're going to fight a disease, let's fight one of the most terrible diseases of all, indifference.
Susan was lost. The world was shocked. Everyone grieved. The world had lost one of the most beloved and talented men in show business, and it came as a complete surprise. Robin was good at hiding his problems and keeping his issues to himself, and he simply hadn't been ready to share his tragic battle with the world.
You treat a disease, you win, you lose. You treat a person, I guarantee you'll win, no matter what the outcome.
Robin is survived by his widow and 3 children, Zach, Zelda, and Cody. Cody married on July 21st, 2019. It would have been Robin's 68th birthday.
God bless you. Have a good night. Woo!
Honestly, I've never been more shocked or upset about a celebrity death than I was for Robin Williams. But let's not talk about that. Let's use the comments to talk about our favorite Robin Williams moments or movies. For me, it's going to be Aladdin, Mrs. Doubtfire, and The Birdcage. I love The Birdcage. So come talk to me in the comments or on my YouTube channel or on Twitter or Instagram at Rebecca Brayton. Also, please watch this other video.